What is going on, guys? Patrick here. Today we're going to be going over all the things that I bought yesterday. Of course, I think I've got to address the monumentous thing that happened to me while I was out thrifting yesterday morning. I really thought it was just going to be a quick day. I had 30 minutes. We were taking our cat to the vet. My wife was like, "You've got until 10:30 and then we have to leave." And I get to about what, 10:15, and who do I run into? Raiken Profit. Just out of nowhere, I saw some guy checking out the CDs. He was scanning them, and I thought I should ask, like, how you doing? How are you? How is the scanning going? Something like that. And I looked at my watch and I was like, you know what? I got to get a move on. And so I'm standing there, right? I've got my GoPro on recording, and I'm starting to look up my items in my cart. And all of a sudden I hear, oh, hey, that's what I used to do. And I look up and immediately I recognize him. And you guys, I couldn't believe this happened. I could barely remember my own name. Like he says, "What's your channel name?" And I'm like, "Yep, I have no idea." I was starstruck, which is so funny. I never expected that to happen when you meet somebody like he's an influencer on my life, on my ability to resell, and on my willingness to make movies. Right? He's somebody that I've looked up to. I've bought a couple of his guides over the years. It's just amazing. So, and then I know he wanted to make a recording of me and put it up on his Instagram. And I was just like, wow, that is super nice. Because Saturday morning I had 23 subscribers. I think all but like two of them, maybe a couple more, were family and friends. And so now I'm up at like 82. So I've basically quadrupled my subscribers. So thank you to the new subscribers who've joined me. I am humbled. I am still in awe of this. It was amazing. Uh, I just, I'm at a loss for words. All right, so welcome to all the new subscribers. In these videos, I like to just go over what did I buy the day before when I was out thrifting, or maybe the last couple days, something like that. I'm gonna go through it pretty quickly, right? Like I've watched a bunch of people's movies where they just drag everything out, and I try to move. Sometimes I do have like an interesting story to tell about it. So that's just the way it's gonna go, I guess. I know I'm still flying high from just running into Steve the other day. It was just craziness. Um, all right, so first thing, not on video. My friend Matt came over on Friday, and he said I was like he had cleaned up his office, and he's like, I got some toys that I'm looking to get rid of. Do you want them? I'm like, of course. I love toys. I mean, you can see behind me. Look, there's Lego up on the shelf up there, right? I love toys. And so he's like, great. Here's just some 5 things I thought might be interesting. And I start pulling them out, and I'm like, oh, it's Galactus from Marvel. And I'm like, but he's kind of the kitty one. I'm like, it looks like the Imaginext or Marvel Superhero Squad. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I've never seen one that's this size before. Sure enough, I looked them up, and they all have a good amount of value. I mean, Galactus, I believe I'm going to be able to sell for around $20. And there were 2 Sentinels. Right, I'm a huge nerd. Like that helps me identify these guys. But right, they're Marvel. They're stamped Marvel or Hasbro on here. They've stamped the year. You could look them up that way pretty easily. The guy with the round on the chest, he's worth about $20. And this guy with the diamond on his chest, the triangle on his chest, is, I think I'm going to try and list him for around $30. He's rare. So not only did my friend hook me up with some stuff to list, but now I know to look for these guys, right? I'm already looking for the small ones, but I may have overlooked them. They look very similar to Rescue Heroes, right down to their big feet. And I mean, I may have just mistaken them for Rescue Heroes at some point, and now I know to really keep my eye out for this style. The next couple items he had in there were some Star Wars items, similar style, right? These are the Star Wars Galactic Heroes, very similar to the Superhero Squad and to Imaginext. I love Star Wars, so this stuff is awesome. Right? I talk about that a lot where I like to have fun doing this. Just having this stuff in my house for a little while is super cool. I mean, you can't see it, but I've got a Star Wars poster up on the wall behind me. So just love it. He's just one of my best friends, and it was really nice of him to come over and drop those off for me to list. It's going to bring in about $100 in sales, I think. Probably at the end of the day, it'll probably be into more like $90, but that's awesome, right? All right, so then we get into so the next morning, Saturday morning, and I'm at Savers, and Of course, I rushed back to the electronics like I like to do, and it looks mostly deserted. Couple of interesting things on the shelf that I grabbed. This one's gonna be kind of hard to show, but I just saw that it said Scan Master and Fish Finder. And I've sold a couple other fish finders that are a little bit more modern. So I was like, I'm going to put this in my cart and look it up and see how we can do. I never ever got a chance to look it up. I spent my entire rest of my time there talking to Steve, and I basically had to walk out of the store buying everything that was in my cart. I did put one item back without having to know if there was any value to it or not. So that was it's usually a reseller no-no, right? You don't want to be just buying things willy-nilly. You want to have a firm understanding. A couple of them I wasn't too worried about it, right? I got this VCR here. This one was stereo. I'm not going to worry about that. Like you can see right on the back, there's a red, white, and yellow. So when there's a red and a white, you know it's a stereo VCR. I knew that this would probably be worth $20 to $30 at a minimum. I'm going to list it for $40 and see how it does. And then there was one other VCR here. This one you can see on the back the difference, right? There's only the white and the yellow there, meaning that it is just one channel or mono, right? Not going to be a stereo one. Previously, I would have said don't buy them. But I think I'm actually going to be able to get like $30 or $35 for it. So like apparently they're doing pretty well. I did test them. They're working, so that's really good. Surprisingly, the mono stereo has a sharp picture. Like on my HD TV, I'm shocked. I didn't expect that. The other one that's in stereo, the picture's kind of fuzzy. It's like more like what I would expect from a VCR. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to take it and tell you guys all about it. I headed up to the electronics and bags area, and I saw a Sony remote control. This one goes to a television. It's got like multi-function on here, VCR and TV. And right, I was going to look this thing up. I thought, maybe it had value, maybe it didn't. I could find out. Y'all, this is going back to Savers. I'm going to redonate it. It does not have enough value in it to make me do anything good with it. So same thing, I think, with that fish finder. I may end up having to redonate that. I don't know if there's any value. There's one similar sold on eBay, and it sold for like $25, I think, and it's in a little bit better condition. I think maybe that's a hold, though, because it's not boat season, right? People are not out going fishing right now. So it might be one to just hold on to until maybe May, maybe June, something like that. So it may end up getting redonated. We'll see. We'll see. All right. I also found this thing hanging there, which at first glance looks like an AC adapter. As other resellers, I'm certain you guys recognize these. Like I saw that's on the side there. And then I said, I got to take a closer look, and it's going to be hard to see. Nintendo GameCube. So, right, this goes right in with my strategy. I'm always looking for AC adapters for video game systems, controllers, AV cables, because then I'm going to end up finding one at some point, a system, and it's not going to have the AC adapter. It's not going to have controllers. It's not going to have the AV cable. And boom, I've got a bunch of them sitting in a box. If they ever start to become too burdensome, like I'm storing too many of them, all right, now I'll look to sell them. I think probably I could sell this for $10 to $15 all by itself. So I think I was into it for, let's see what the price is here. It was $5. So, not a bad price. I wouldn't have been able to get one off eBay for that if I needed one. And I've got it right here ready to go whenever I want it. I also did find one toy. Again, didn't look these up. Had no idea what the value was on it. This guy, military, he was tall. He's about 7-8 inches tall. And I just thought he looked interesting. So I was like, okay, I'm putting him in the cart. And, right, I've been in love with the toy section for a long time now. Kind of ever since Steve had a video about a year ago, Steve Raiken again, with his friend Vinny. And they talked about toys quite a bit. And so I bought the guide. I read up on it. I started studying on my own. What else could I be looking for, right? That's how I discovered some of the other toy lines that I really like to buy, like the How to Train Your Dragon stuff. Like I just kind of found that stuff on my own and learned that category. And unfortunately, if he has his parts, some of the other ones in this line do really well. It's a G.I. Joe, actually. I didn't know that. He's probably worth about $5. So I may put him, like you can see right above my head there, I've got a couple of boxes. They're filled with a bunch of, I would call them like junk drawer toys. I'll probably end up listing those here pretty soon. I like to do that about once a year, but it's like it's something that's interesting but not worth a lot on its own. I'll just toss it in that box and then I'll list it up as a big lot at some point in the middle of the winter. So he's probably going to go in that box. It also just serves as like a storage then, where if I do end up getting a few more of these or something like that before I list them, then I have them stored and ready to go. So that was it this week. Not a ton of value. Of course, my other computer locked while I was talking, so I have to unlock it. I spent $35. I did have a 20% coupon for Saver, so that really helped me out, like made me feel a little bit better about it. And I think my total value is going to be probably just over $100, maybe like $115, something like that. And that's if I can get that fish finder sold for like 25. So not a great day for the thrift store, but it was a great day in general. I loved going thrifting. I think you guys all do too. Still really, really looking forward to when garage sale season starts, of course. And I'm hopeful I can get out to a few more stores this week, right? One store is hard to really get a lot of stuff to feel like, oh, I'm accomplished. I found a whole bunch of things this week, but it's going to be all right. So that is it for this week, you guys. If you liked this content, please give me a thumbs up. And if this is your first time watching, you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. My name is Patrick, and thank you very much.